So, this Fabian Wolf from the ILIAS Verein Geschäftsstelle, and I am Ann-Christine Gruber. Unfortunately, Ann-Christine wrote me this morning she's ill. And no, she wasn't with the others yesterday here. It's not related to the yesterday evening. So she apologized she couldn't come. So I tried to replace her a bit, or let's say to help you a bit in the presentation. But you will tell us a bit about the installation manual you recently created with Ann-Christine, something that was a long time on the to-do list. And yeah, let's see what you've done. You go through it on.
Yeah, let's begin with a popular topic for the most new users, the installation manual. It's mostly popular because there was no development in the recent years aside from minor error corrections. So we had a discussion with So we had a discussion with the technical board on how to approach this problem. So we agreed that I will revise the document technically, and Ann-Christine will do the language and layout part. After the revision, we agreed to announce our change with a pull request, the dir fix, and some other communication channels. We have encouraged and still encourage everyone to give suggestions to improvements or other inputs if something is missing there. My first target was to give the documentation a larger head that inexperienced users can head-on start into installing ILIAS. I also streamlined the process to lead the user to complete one topic after another, and optional features are moved to the appendix or removed and referenced to the documentation of its component. One thing I added was a recommendation to use Ubuntu 24.04, which makes the first installation easier for inexperienced users because it already contains most of the correct dependencies like PHP 8.3 in its package repository, and also the manual is giving now hints on how to install a correct PHP on other Debian-based OSs. For now, I only explain the installation for Apache. And I also know there's a demand to use the superior web server Nginx. But because I don't use Nginx myself and I don't feel competent to write instructions for now, I rely on the community to provide a configuration for Nginx. So if you have a basic configuration, feel free to contact me. As I already said, optional components which has to be configured, like the on-screen chat, the RPC certificate server, or the cron job. I only want to reference the component documentations here, because I think the maintainer are providing information about that component which is more accurate and recent than a duplicate in the install menu, and also it's easier to me to handle this at every release. I made an exception for the cron jobs because an end user documentation was missing, and it was a very frequently requested missing part of our installation process. Another new chapter is the backup part. This was also missing here. At last chapter here in this presentation, we want to encourage everyone to contribute to this document if something is missing, some components which should be referenced here when it's optional, or if you have a basic Nginx configuration. Thank you, and I will give to Matthias.
Yeah. Thank you, Fabian. Well, this is quite a good example. If we talk about community and community work, we weren't able to find someone in the community who took care of the installation, but we got a lot of questions and complaints. So in this case, it was very good that we have Fabian, and that there's the Verein, the ILIAS Association, is able to finance someone who takes care of that. So that in that case, sometimes we also need man or woman power paid by the Verein to realize things like that, if we are able. And unfortunately, Fabian can do this. He's managing a huge bunch of servers, to be honest, that are running for the ILIAS Verein. And so we also changed a bit the paradigm, that we said, okay, we do this installation guide and also things like required software, mainly like we use it at the ILIAS Verein, because that's what we can talk about and where we know about what we know about. So if, as Fabian said, if there's someone who uses Nginx instead of Apache, whatever, or has some additional information that is not tackled at the moment by the installation guide, please contact Fabian. But nevertheless, he will take care of the installation guide in the future, so that this is always properly maintained and up to date. We started with that with ILIAS 10, right? Yeah, so it's ILIAS 10 is the first installation guide we offer. We decided not to do this also for 9, because between 9 and 10 things change, basically the component version. So it was, let's say, a compromise to say, okay, we do this, but do this from 10 on. If you install ILIAS 10, then you will get benefit of it. If you still install ILIAS 9, it's still the old installation. Rashid, you had a question? Sorry?
Yeah, sure, you can. Just contact me and we'll figure out what is missing, what we can include there. It's completely free to contribute to that.
The thing is only that let's say, service providers often have their very specific setup, and not often the one that is available for let's say for the everyone user. And Fabian's view on the installation guide was very much one of I'm new, I wanted to install ILIAS, I want to know about that. So this is why he also put away some, let's say, very specific, very specific stuff, and really focus on those people who get into the installation of ILIAS the first time, and that's often completely different from the approach or from the practice that is running at a service provider who is running, let's say, hundreds of ILIAS installations, because he has a total different setup. So that was also one reason, because no one took over this task, and I think there were parts in the installation guide where the authorship was still by Boris Schürmann, and he left ILIAS in 2005. So I'm pretty sure that it's like that. Okay, so as I mentioned, any suggestion for improvements for Anons, Fabian is the one who takes care of that. So yet now, another thing that we take care at the Verein, and that Ann-Christine would like to have to present it today, she mentioned that before already, is that she's done in the last 2 years, she worked on the technical documentation of these different things. But one thing we still have on the list is, let's say, the tutorial for new ILIAS developers to get easier into coding for ILIAS. Because, as we know, resources. We would like to get more people into ILIAS development, and then we could realize more things. And I think Anne-Christine mentioned that already in the past, that we are planning to do that. And I think we already done quite a bit of stuff. To be honest, I have to look on the slides to know what she wants to, because I have no script from her. She told me this morning that she won't be able to join us. So we started with this tutorial already last year, and there were several contributions to that tutorial about different topics. Also, you wrote something, I guess, about installation. No, you wrote. No, okay. So, but he's also doing some. Fred made some. Fred Neumann wrote something. So there are already parts of the topics already covered. But we noticed that there are some mainly specific development topics that where we need expertise by people outside of the ILIAS Verein or of our group. And that this can only be done by experienced ILIAS developers. So now you know experienced ILIAS developers are one of those creatures in the world that have almost no time for additional stuff, because they are fully full with tasks and to-dos. So it's not that easy to let's say, get them and say, on the weekend would be a nice moment to write some text about one of these topics. So we tried to get that on a, let's say, free base, but okay, we know we only have a chance to engage developers for that if we buy time for them. So if we say, okay, make us a suggestion what time you need to write such an article for that, and then we are willing to pay that because we know that otherwise it might not work. So Anne-Christine created a call for bits that we will publish soon. I think we go on that over that next week again, but then we will publish that. And we ask for a couple of texts for our tutorial. We have already, I guess maybe it's on this. Oh no, it's a contact. We have already some reference texts that have been made, so that if you are interested to write some of these articles, you see what we expect and what is the amount of pages. It's not, let's say, 5 pages, as we try to keep it more short, but it needs to have a certain quality and the knowledge, and we are not able to deliver that. So if you are interested in that, have a look at the call for bits. We will send it around next week, and then we would highly appreciate to get offers from you for one or several topics, so that we can continue, and hopefully this would be great to have the tutorial ready at the next DevConf in Marburg in September. So this is the contact for Anne-Christine and also for Fabian. Would be great if someone is contacting you for improvements in the installation guide and reacting on the call for bits. But okay, I send it around in the known channels, like for the ILIAS admins and developers. So I hope you will get it. And if you haven't got an email end of next week, call me or give me. Then you might not be in one of these channels. Okay, that's from that side. And now it's time for lunch. Yeah, quite good.